My father passed away in a car accident when he was 28. My trauma response to that was become socially definitely challenges with abandonment type of thing unconsciously. I went from external achievement and external success, but being internally unfulfilled.
Welcome to the Wheel With It podcast with your host, Devon. Let's get into the episode.
Hello. Welcome to another episode of Wheel With It. I am your host, Devon Wieters, and today we have Lazaros. He was fascinating to talk to. He has a great story. I think you guys are really going to like this one. So here's my conversation. Hello. Welcome to another episode of Wheel With It. My name is Devon Wieters, and today we have Alan Lazaros on the podcast today. How are you today, Alan?
I am very well. I want to start with gratitude always. I start and end with gratitude. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. And
Thank you for requesting us.
You are so very welcome.
It really means a lot when people request us. So to have you and your business partner Kevin request us is So tell us about
You've met Kevin.
I have not.
Kevin,
Coming on
okay.
after you actually.
Okay, nice. Good.
Kevin Pulmonary.
Yeah, Palmieri. Yeah, he's a
Okay.
good guy. He's a good guy. You'll like him.
So to have both of you all do it, it's amazing. I have you back to back actually. So tell us about yourself and then we'll go from there.
Okay, so I'll tell you where I am now, and then I'll go back to the beginning, the origin, and we all have a story. I'm going to try to condense 35 years into a very short time here. So now I am the CEO and CFO of a company called Next Level University. We are a podcast and a brand, but we also have a company built underneath that. We have an 18-person team now. We are heard in 175 countries, and we're coming up on our 1900th episode. So we've done a lot of episodes. We've been podcasting for a long time.
Incredible. Like when I get to 1900, I don't know what I'm going to do.
Thank you. The average length of the show is about a half an hour. So a lot of times when people hear 1900, they figure it's micro content, but it's actually, we do the 1% improvement every day in your pocket from anywhere on the planet, completely free. Next Level University, level up your life, love, health, and wealth. So that's who we are and what we do. And the whole goal is to help people reach their potential and be the best version of themselves. So it's Next Level University, but Next Level You, pun intended. I always say I'm going to be 36 in November. It's actually coming up in 18 days. And I'm going to be Alan version 3.6. And so Alan version 3.6 is going to be smarter, stronger, hopefully more virtuous, better than version 3.5, better than version 3.0, better than version 1.5 when I was 15. So the idea is best version of yourself, bettering your best every single day. But that's where I am. Go ahead.
That is an amazing way to look at things. So yeah, we should all try to be better every day. So tell us about how you grew up as much as you're comfortable with. I know it wasn't easy, but tell us about how you grew up.
Yeah, started off tough for sure. And definitely had a few beautiful gifts for sure too that I'll be clear about. But when I was 2 years old, my father passed away in a car accident when he was 28. So I had an older sister who was 6 at the time. I was almost 3, and my mom was 31. My birth father's name is John McCorkle, so my real last name is actually McCorkle. I had a stepfather from age 3 to 14. His name was Steve Lazaros, and my last name, I took his last name, I think, around age 6 or 7. And my birth father's family, it was Jim, Joe, John, Jane, Joan, Jeanette, 6 kids, big Irish Catholic family. But when we were being the Lazarus's, we didn't really associate much with the McCorkles. And then my stepfather left when I was 14 years old and took his entire extended family with him. I have yet to speak to any of them or see any of them since. I did talk to my stepdad a little bit on Facebook Messenger in my mid-20s. That same year, my mom got in a fight with my Aunt Sandy, and we got ostracized from that side of the family too. And I've seen a couple, my Aunt Kathy and then my cousin Jeff from that side. And then he has a son named Dan, my second cousin. But for the most part, by the time I'm 14 years old, I lost 3 families in a way because we didn't really associate with the McCorkles much. The Lazarus went. And then my mom's side also went away too. And so that was a tough time for sure. My sister moved out that same year. And so my trauma response to that was become socially definitely challenges with abandonment type of thing unconsciously. But I also aim higher, work harder, get smarter. It was fight to be better sort of thing. And when I looked into the future, there was no generational wealth, no father, no trust fund, type of thing. And so I really took a lot of responsibility and became the man of the house at 14, so to speak. And I did really well in high school. I got into my dream college, WPI. It's Worcester Polytechnic Institute, kind of like a mini MIT. I became a computer engineer. I got my master's in business. And then I was off to the races in corporate. I worked for a bunch of different tech companies. I rose very quickly in income and in, I guess, social status is what you'd call it. And then I got in my car accident. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say to us about the car accident, but you were already going that.
Yeah, I was in New Hampshire with my second cousin Dan, the one of the very few, yeah, pretty much the only person that's really come back into my life from my mom's side. His name's Jeff. His name's Dan. My second cousin Dan was in the car with me. But I was at a three-way intersection, dark winter night back in 2015. The snowbanks were covering the yield signs, and I was supposed to yield. I didn't, my fault. I ended up on the wrong side of the road, and I looked down at the GPS, I look up, and I saw the biggest, brightest lights I'd ever seen, what I thought was a Mack truck. Two things saved my life. Number one, it wasn't a Mack truck, it was a lift-kitted pickup truck, fortunately. Number two, I was driving a 2004 Volkswagen Passat, safest car ever. I used to call this car the tank. The whole front end was smashed in. This was not a fender bender. This was a bad car accident.
Yeah.
Frame stayed though, and the airbags deployed. So we were physically okay, fortunately. No permanent damage physically. But mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, my dad died in a car when he was 28. I've seen pictures of his car, and this is a second chance my dad never got. So after that, I really turned my life around, and I went from external achievement and external success, but being internally unfulfilled, and I flipped the script and I went all the way to deeply fulfilled internally, but I actually was not that successful externally at first. I pre-car accident, I had rose really quickly in corporate. I paid off all my college debt, 84 grand off in a single year. I had 150,000.
Dang,
Yeah.
congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. And I had a bunch of investments in Vanguard and stocks and tech companies and stuff. And then I liquidated all those assets. I went past broke, started my own company called Alan Lazaros LLC, what you'll never learn in school but desperately need to know. And I was a speaker, like a motivational speaker, educational speaker is what I called it. And then I went broke. I was a fitness coach, fitness model, fitness competitor, but I couldn't sustain it. So I was internally fulfilled, happy, healthy, productive, but I wasn't externally successful. Then eventually I finally got to the place. I started a podcast called Conversations Change Lives. My business partner, who you mentioned, Kevin, started a podcast called the Hyperconscious Podcast, and we teamed up. I was his first guest. He was my first guest. Then we teamed up, and then we started what's now known as Next Level University. And now we have an 18-person team and 1,900 episodes, and we're heard in 175 countries. And now we do podcast coaching and business coaching and podcast production. And we have a whole company underneath that. And we've got book club and meetups and all kinds of stuff. But ultimately, I went from kid at 14, unsuccessful and unfulfilled, to corporate after college, successful externally, but unfulfilled internally. And then I flipped the script and I went past broke and I was unsuccessful externally, but deeply fulfilled internally. And then finally, in my 30s, I finally created what I think we all want, which is external success in tandem with internal fulfillment.
So that's really cool. So tell us about what the journey to starting the business was like, because that must not have been easy if you had literally nothing.
Yeah, so business is the hardest thing in the world. One of the hardest things in the world, I should say. I think that how did I start the business? We have a framework called turn your passion into purpose into profit. And the passion piece is what do you love? What do you adore? What do you love doing even when it's hard? So for me, weight training, I really have become obsessed with it. Podcasting, self-improvement, these kinds of things. These are passions. But passions without a purpose are empty. So how do you turn your passion into purpose? Purpose is for others. So the podcast is the vehicle, but the purpose is helping other people improve their lives. So my passion is improving myself and improving my life. And my purpose is to help others do the same. And the podcast is a vehicle to do that. In terms of the profit piece, it took us years to figure this out. But the passion and the purpose aren't going to sustain themselves unless you learn how to actually become profitable. How do you make enough money to sustain it, type of thing. So improve your passion for a purpose, helping others, and then make money doing that to then reinvest that back into more passion and more purpose, and then reinvest and reinvest. And so that's what a business is built on. Is I think in business you have to be really good at three things. The first is metrics and systems and structures and math. The second is products and services and innovation. You need to have a good product service that you provide to people. In this case, this podcast is a service. And then the third one is you have to be good with people. And that's the one that I struggled with. I was an engineer, so I wasn't as good with people.
I struggle with the math part. I'm like, I need a like well, maybe not a marketing person, but I need an accountant to this thing takes off. Luckily, my mom is a CFO, so we got that covered.
Perfect.
Like, how's the business doing now? What's the podcast about? Where can folks check that out? All that kind of stuff.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes. We have a website called nextleveluniverse.com. All things Next Level Universe, spelled just like it sounds. We have a podcast, as I mentioned, called Next Level University. It's a place people go to learn how to reach their potential. The slogan is level up yourself, level up your podcast, level up your business type of thing. And how is the business doing? So this is the most in demand we've ever been. Kevin and I are actually quite overwhelmed. Today I've had back-to-backs and think that the business is doing very well. It's doing very well. And I'm very grateful because there's two challenges in business. There's either not enough demand or too much. And I'd much prefer too much than too little. So
I would like a little bit more demand because I don't make money off this. So if you have too much demand, like you can
it's a good problem to have. It's a really good problem to have. However, it also is challenging because how do you sustain it? And how do you not only sustain it, but how do you grow it? And that's really the challenge is the bigger your business gets, that's great and that's wonderful. But the more challenging it becomes. And I often say the world's biggest lie is that success makes life easier. When you get to the NBA, let's say that's your dream, now you have to play against the best players in the world. So it actually doesn't make your life easier. It makes a lot of times success actually makes it's harder to sustain than I think people think. And so every time you level up in life, now there's more responsibility and now there's more skills necessary to succeed. And now you have to sustain it and scale it. And if you improve yourself, I think, and you focus there, I think when you get to that next level, you'll be ready for it.
So what would be your advice to somebody that wants to follow their dreams or their passion?
The first one would be get very clear. You have to get really clear on what you're obsessed with. And I use obsessed in a positive way, not a negative way. So, for example, I've always loved film ever since I was a kid. When I found self-improvement, I became obsessed. I read every book I could get my hands on. I listened to audiobooks constantly. I'm always trying to. Fitness is another passion. So you don't want to build your dreams around something that is superfluous. You don't want to build your dreams around something that's fleeting. We all go through phases, right? We all grow, change, evolve, adapt. There's certain things about you that's never changed. There's certain things about you that are never going to change. When you find those, that's what you go all in on. You don't want to build your career or your business or your dreams on something that's temporary. And you really do want to figure out and uncover and get clarity on who am I and what makes me different? Where am I the most unique? What do I care about deeply enough to build my career and my company on that? What do I care about deeply enough to build my dreams on that? And for example, if you want to be an astronaut, you better be obsessed with space and you better be so obsessed that you're willing to do everything you can to become an astronaut. And so I think a lot of people don't achieve their goals. And I read the stats on this actually. We do monthly meetups every month at Next Level University. And in January of 2025, we did one called Clear Goal Setting for 2025. And we prepped
2024, you mean?
2024. Thank you. Yes, in 2024. Good call. Good call. I'm always so future oriented. That's my bad. Yeah. So in January of 2024, we did one setting clear goals for 2024. We're probably going to do it again in 2025, actually. But I did some research, and the research that I did showed only 4% of people have written goals, and only 8% of those people ever achieve them. And that statistic alarmed me. And I do business coaching, right? So it's goals, metrics, habits, skills, and identity work that need to align to achieve your goals. And so I understand now why most people don't achieve their goals. And the reason why is the goals are predicated on a version of them that isn't real. So it's usually predicated on low self-awareness. And so if you have high self-awareness, you'll set goals that are actually congruent with who you are and who you aspire to be. Because we all have who we need to be, who we want to be, and who we actually are. And we're all trying to figure out the center point between those three. So ultimately, if you want to achieve your dreams and goals, you have to make sure they're aligned with who you are and who you aspire to be. and you have to be willing to do the work necessary to actually achieve them.
So that's amazing advice, actually. I'm going to go back and listen to that. So anything else that you would like to add? Where can folks check you out?
Yeah. The only thing that I would add is whoever you are, wherever you are, keep after it, stay hopeful. Living the dream and chasing the dream are the same thing. I always say this, if you're grinding and growing toward your goals and dreams, you are already living the dream. The people that are grinding and growing toward their dreams are always going to be the envy of the people sitting around feeling sorry for themselves. So I'm really encouraging people to dig deep within themselves and take personal responsibility for their own life and do all you can with all you have, right? And that's the thing. But it all starts with personal responsibility. And if you can authentically say you're doing all you can with all you have and that you're bettering your best and you're getting better and you're improving and then your life will improve too. And I think that's inspiring for all of us.
That's an amazing way to end it. Where can people follow you on social media?
Okay, so I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I'm on LinkedIn. I just created a Thread account, which is an extension of Instagram. I think it's called Threads.
Yes.
My Instagram is Lazarus88, Alazaros 88, and my LinkedIn is Alan Lazarus. My name, you can Google my name and then type LinkedIn, it'll come right up. And then my Facebook, I'm Alan Lazarus, personal Facebook page. You can DM me. If you do DM me, please just provide context, obviously, to this episode so I know where you
Yes,
found me. And
don't randomly slide into spams.
yeah, no spam. We all get a lot of spams. Just please provide context. But yeah, I'm on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. I also do have a TikTok, but I don't check it often. So Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn are the best places.
Okay, and we hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Follow him on social media. Tell him thank you for coming on the show. Follow me on social media at We're With a Pod and at Devon Wieters. And we'll see you guys next episode. Bye, guys. That was fascinating, wasn't it? He was just so sweet and had such a great story. I really like that one. So again, follow him on social media. Follow me on social media. We'll have all those links in the show notes, and we will see you guys next episode. Bye, guys.
Thank you for joining us. We hope you enjoyed the show. Remember to follow the show and our guests on social media and subscribe. Be sure to hit the bell so you'll get notified when we upload new episodes. See you next time.